How you doing, folks? My name's Jesse. Vlog entry number 37, July 22nd. What have I been working on? Well, I've been sorting through gear, and I've got a little show and tell report thing to do. The missus and I, a couple weeks ago, went up to Erie PA, and our primary goal was to avoid the heat, the mid-Atlantic heat, which we, met with some success. We hung out in the peninsula and enjoyed Lake Erie. And one of the things we got to do was go to the World of Music, where I met Rome Casamo. I think I'm saying it right, dude. Cool dude. Cool store. Super cool store. Tons of really interesting gear. Some good prices. He was like, you couldn't have asked for a friendlier dude. He gave my wife and I some good recommendations for food and stuff, which, by the way, dude, the public house was closed that day. It was Employee Appreciation Day or something like that. So, anyway, um, and I wanted to get something, and I saw a small stone phase shifter and a QTron. And I'm messed up because I thought the Qtron is based on the Mutron, which I thought the Mutron biphase, which I thought was a phaser. And I was like, well, I really want to hear what that Mutron sounds like, not realizing it was an envelope filter. If I had paid a little more attention, I would have realized that. But it's, okay. So, and it gave me an idea for another stupid shootout because I happen to have an old DOD envelope filter that was recommended to me by my friend Joe Bochar back in the day. Joe Bochar, who built this guitar, which I'll talk about his guitars a little further down the road. I want to dedicate some time to him. So I thought, let me do an envelope filter shootout. So I did that. I came up with like a basic funk groove, and I did some spacey stuff and some rhythmic stuff and some lead stuff. I thought about putting pictures over it to show you which one was which, but all you got to do is look at the table and see which one's up on the board. It's not hard to distinguish between the two of them. So I A-B'd the DOD and the Qtron. We're going to take a minute. I'm going to show you the video, and you tell me what you think. See you there. All right, let's talk about it. When I first set them up, a couple of things. One, I thought, this thing is ancient. Like, I don't even know. It's so old it was made in the USA. Uh, like, I don't even how old it is. 80s, I think in the early mid 80s, something like that. Um, and at first I couldn't get it to work like past here, like at about 2 o'clock. If I pushed it past 2 o'clock, nothing happened, and I was kind of fussing with the controls a little bit, and I thought, well, maybe it's shot. And I put the QTron on, and it's the same situation. Now I was recording direct into GarageBand using their amp sims because it's direct, it's easy, you know. And the Mutron, the envelope filter is such a pronounced effect that I think it kind of overshadows any of the subtle differences between using a modeler and using a live amp. But the Mutron was doing the same thing, so I was like, all right, let's run it. The controls on the Mutron are a little more complex because you can control low pass, mid pass, and high pass. Whereas I think maybe the DOD just does that with the range option. And so at first I was like, man, the DOD's got it all over the QTron, you know. Wider range. It was doing something different, you know, and the QTron just felt kind of muddy. But then, as I hit the lead channel, all of a sudden, the QTron really just jumped, you know, and it kind of smoked the DOD as far as I was concerned. Like for a minute, I felt like Hendrix, you know, I felt like I was just riding that note. It almost felt like a univibe in a weird way. So, you can't have one. I was hoping to, shoot them out and be like, well, I got to get rid of one of them. But they do different things, you know. When you need it, you need it, right? So anyway, let me know what you think. I got one other shootout in mind that I'm hoping to film soon. Not exactly sure when, but we'll give it a shot. Anyway, my name's Jesse. I'll talk to you later.